Alright, hello everyone. We're just going to talk real quick about diagnosing the bag is full problem on Whiz. This is becoming a pretty common occurrence with some of our customers, so we want to walk you through the steps of how to troubleshoot, what to figure out, and then how to make the repairs if any are needed. Okay? So as is now standard company policy, whenever you're dealing with the internals of Whiz here, we're going to want to put on some PPE. Potentially, you could also need a pipe cleaner and a Phillips head screwdriver, but we'll get to that. Okay. So, some of the common causes, just keep in mind whenever you're trying to diagnose bag is full error, Whiz doesn't actually know if the bag is full or not. Okay. What Whiz does is measure the airflow through the system. If the airflow drops below a certain threshold, that means it's going to say, hey, bag is full. And that can be caused by a few different things. The bag actually being full. One of the intake valves being clogged, the HEPA filters being blocked, the hopper tray being too full, etc. So we're just going to go through those step by step and see what might be causing the problem. First thing we're going to check is the bag. Okay? Was the bag fully inflated? Now if we have a brand new bag, okay, when the bags are first shipped, they're very flat. Okay? It's very hard for Whiz to inflate that sometimes. So we want to make sure that the bag isn't just sitting out here like this, that it is actually properly fully inflated. So let's take a look. And as you can see, that bag is actually pretty full. I'm going to take the bag out from here. We're going to check the insert there. Now right now that's pretty clear. I'm going to fake to see what it would look like. Sometimes what we'll see is something like that, okay? You'll see a plug of dirt right in the opening. That's, again, one of those clogs that form in the pipe, gets sucked in and stopped right here. That is absolutely enough to stop the bag from, the air from flowing. So if this happens, obviously we can change the bag, or we can just pop that in, shake it down a little bit. Now normally we'd want to just empty the bag for a customer, but if we're trying to diagnose the problem, if we pop that plug in, put the bag in, the bag is full, error goes away, we know that plug was the problem. Okay? So, in this case, I would pop the plug in, put the bag back on, and say, hey, give it a try, see if that may go away. Okay? The other thing we want to check out is the intake right here, or I guess it's the outtake valve. Either way, that's connected directly to the bag. Okay, we want to look in here and make sure there is nothing blocking that. So as we can see, there's nothing in there. You can also see the direction that pipe goes down into. Can I feel anything in there? No, I cannot, so we're good there. And this is another great place. We have our pipe cleaner, just give it a little exploratory insert. Now, the pipe goes in and straight down, so we're going to feed this through as much as we can there. Now, you really can't get too deep in this section, but as you can see, coming away clean, so that is not our problem. So, you know what, while I'm at it, I'm going to install a fresh bag. When we're doing a fresh bag, remember we want to pop the bag out first, okay? Popcorn style. Reach in, put it back in there. There we are. And again, now that I've placed the bag in there, we're going to fluff it out again. Make sure it's nice and open there. Now before we get to the hopper and the other areas, we're going to take a look at the HEPA filters, okay? If the HEPA filters get very dirty, they could also be restricting airflow, and they could also be causing some of this problem. So we're going to take the HEPA filters, take a look at those. Now this isn't too bad. So I happen to know that's not the issue on this one. I'm going to put that back together. Since we have the back here, let's go ahead and take a look at that hopper tray. Maybe I actually want to push Whiz forward a little bit, make sure those casters are turned around the right way. Reach straight underneath, Pull the hopper tray back, slide it out to the right. Ooh, that is nasty. All right, get a good shot of that. That one is pretty bad, okay? This obviously hasn't been emptied in quite a while, and we can see why. So we're going to go ahead. In this case, I'm at my own personal home, so I'm just going to dump this in the nearest trash barrel. I strongly recommend that if you're on a deployment or a support visit, go ahead and make sure you're bringing a plastic bag, Ziploc bag, something like that, so you can dispose of it yourself, okay? Let me get all of this out of here. There we are. This isn't part of the deployment kit. I always keep a little hand towel with me whenever I'm doing this. Do not use the microfiber cloths for cleaning, okay guys? Don't do it. Don't be that guy. Alright, so hopper tray is clear. Now normally at this point I would go ahead and fire it up again, but we want to be extra thorough, so we're going to check a few things. Yeah, pretty typical for a very dusty environment. Not a lot of hair here, which is kind of surprising. But we'll just give all this a wipe. Now I'm wiping the plastic here. Note, I am not wiping those cliff sensors with my dirty towel. Okay? With the cliff sensors, that's when I grab my microfiber. Okay? This is actually pretty okay. The brush is fine. So now we're going to take a look at that hopper tray. Pull that out. Ooh, we got dirt and little rocks and all sorts of fun stuff here. Okay, now I'm going to reach in. I'm going to feel my intake valve. I'm going to feel. Can I feel anything in there? Oh, and actually I can. I can feel some rocks, a little bit of hair, but not too much. Now at this point I could try and take my pipe cleaner, put that up inside here, but the angles are really not favorable for your hair, okay? You really can't get much of a grab. So what you're going to do is take a Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, I'm just going to unscrew. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here. So I'm just going to unscrew those. You have the hopper tray clean. It's a good place to keep them so we don't lose them. Next thing we want to do is be on a call and say, hey Alex, can you ship me 4 screws? I'm sorry, I lost them. Not a good look. Now this whole thing will pop right off. Oh, check that action out. How about that? I think I would have planned that, huh? So, I'll get rid of that. Yeah, we got some dirt buildup here, which again isn't surprising. The owner of this one hasn't been maintaining it very well. Wipe off all that gunk there. Just need a little bit here. Now that I have a decent angle on this pipe, you can see the intake valve goes up straight into there and almost to a 90-degree angle, and to a 45 to the actual pipe. So we're going to grab this. We're going to try to follow that pipe along through as best we can. Now, the good news is a lot of these clogs will be in this first couple inches, right? Because you put the hopper tray right here. If the hopper tray is full, it's pressing debris up against that intake, and hopefully that clog is right in there. And we're coming out clean. So, in this case, I think I'm pretty good. Now, if your clog is very stubborn, and you have the ability, if you have a shop vac or something like that, you can at this point use that to apply some suction to this and see if you can suck anything out of there. But so you remove this panel and you still have not been able to clear the clog or find out what's going on. There is one further level of investigation we can go through, which involves removing this entire bottom section. I'll be demonstrating that for you right now. Okay, to do this, you'll need the following tools. You're going to need a 2mm Allen wrench, a 2.5mm Allen wrench, a Phillips head screwdriver with a fine point. This particular one has a standard screwdriver with a very fine point, but your typical eyeglasses screwdriver, so on, will be able to help you out with this. And that's to disassemble this little assembly here. To do this best, it's actually best if we lean Whiz on its side, so I'll do that. Specifically, we want to lean it on its side so that this enclosure here is exposed. In fact, the first thing we're going to do is remove that. So there is one 2mm hex head is here, so we're going to unscrew that. They will have to hold the little triangle part with your finger, and the hex head will come right out. Okay. And as we did before, I strongly recommend taking the screws and placing them in the hopper tray, so that way we don't lose those. The other reason we want to do this repair on its side, these screws are very small, and if we drop them and they end up inside the body somehow, they are lost and gone forever for our purposes. So inside there, you'll see there are 3 Phillips head screws. That's what we need our screwdriver for. So I'm going to remove those now. Now at this point, you may want to use a set of pliers or tweezers to help you get the screws out, unless you are far more dexterous than I. Okay, so I'm just going to reach in, grab the screw. There we go. Okay, and in the hopper tray. Comes right out, up and off. There we go, again, hopper tray so we don't lose anything, and then this little collar comes off as well. So that's exposed, we're all set there. Next up, we need to remove these. Okay. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of those, and for those we'll use our 2.5mm Allen wrench. Now, if this machine has been in the field, these screws could be quite tight due to dirt. Okay, now that we've removed all of those screws, this whole section is loose. Now we've removed, of course, the triangle piece that held that in. Up here, this is still going to be something we need to avoid. So what you're going to do is pull from the bottom here, lift the whole thing up, press this down a little bit, which will allow you to get the plastic past that. And now the whole unit will come off. Okay. Keep in mind, there is a cable right here. I would recommend disconnecting that for now. Just press on that little clip and you can unplug it, and putting this off to the side. Okay, and now that we've exposed that pipe, we can use our pipe cleaner and get a nice straight shot to inside the unit. Okay, just going to fish around, and I haven't noticed in this case there's no debris, since this one unit is actually fairly clear. Alright, to reassemble, we're going to do the opposite steps. So we're going to take this bottom piece, of course we're going to remember to plug that cable back in. Very important, this cable is plugged in. That is the connection between the robot and the cliff sensors. So, very, very crucial component. Okay, get in the top section, make sure that is in up in all the way here. Okay, make sure that the end of this bushing is completely inserted in the plastic, which will then give us the space we need to line up the other half. The bottom half here, we'll have to push up the plastic just a bit to get that in. Okay, now we're in place. We can start inserting the screws. Again, this is your 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. Now we've got those finished, we need to reassemble this bushing. So now we have our collar here. I'm going to go ahead and start one of those screws in the hole first so it lines up nicely. These are pretty small screws to work with, so if you're not used to it, it may take you a little time. Okay, there's one. Now I just put that in loosely now, I haven't tightened it all the way down yet. And finally, put on the little triangle gear. You'll notice it does have, it is shaped so that it can only go on one of two ways, okay? So that makes our life a little easier. It'll slide right into place. And now we'll use that 2 millimeter Allen wrench for this piece. And that's going to go right in the top. You may need to hold on to the triangle to stop it from spinning while you're screwing in the screw. At least while you get it started. There we go. That's that reassembled. Next, of course, we've got to reassemble this whole panel part. But we've talked about that before, so let's go ahead and replicate that as well. Get our screw started. And go ahead and reinstall our hopper tray and the brush. Triangle side first. And there we go. At this point, if you haven't found anything in the hopper tray, if the bag is clean, if both the intake here and the output port up there, those are both clean. You've taken this panel off. You've pretty much done everything you can in the field to be able to take care of this. So, all right. So those are again the basic things you need to check. Check the bag. Make sure the bag is actually empty. Okay. Don't think, oh, I just put it in there, so the bag must be empty. The Whiz bag can fill up very quickly. So, check the bag. Make sure it's actually empty. 2. Check the bag and make sure it's fluffed out, okay? If it's collapsed, it's not going to work. 3, check the bag, make sure there's not a clog right in the internals of the bag, right in the entrance here. 4, check the pipe here, okay? Make sure that there's not something clogging it right there. If those are all fine, we can check the HEPA filters, then we can start the hopper disassembly. Okay? That's the basics. If you have any further questions, go ahead and email me, Dezra.blinn, DEZRAH.BLINN @softbakerobotics.com. And good luck.